I want to ask you a couple more questions about the actual Teach curriculum, and then we'll wrap things up. The first one is, obviously we're living through COVID-19 right now. It's a very unique time. So I think maybe since you're in the process of getting Teach materials prepared, or have just finished getting Teach materials prepared for our online, what's that change been like going from these large in-person events that we typically do, having a week before everything shut down, we had 1,500 students in assembly. What's it been like going from having those large events to taking this online?
Yeah, I think there's advantages and disadvantages, quite honestly, to moving things online. And so that was the biggest piece. Is in the fall of 2020, when campuses were shut down because of COVID restrictions, we took two large-scale IPE events and converted them online. And in a matter of about 3 to 4 weeks, took an event that would have had about 1,800 learners in person and moved it to online. And now we'll be moving even a larger number of learners to online events in the fall of 2020. And so, it was difficult at the time, but honestly, one advantage that you have is when you put things online, you can have a level of flexibility associated with the dates and the times of those events that you don't necessarily get with a live event. So there's advantages in a live event of bringing all students and faculty together in the same place at the same time, but that presents the challenges that I just mentioned a little bit ago. Whereas when we move the events online, now all of a sudden we can run an event asynchronously online over the course of a couple of weeks. And so it allows students, faculty, and programs to kind of integrate these a little bit differently into their curriculum, and it places a level of flexibility that you can do online that you can't do in person. The flip side of that, of course, is obviously engaging with each other online isn't the same as engaging with each other, in real time. And so we certainly have tried to provide as much opportunity as possible for, at a minimum, the students to engage with each other in real time in an online environment. And so even though we've had to move these events to the online space, we still have a requirement for the students to synchronously interact with each other via video. And so again, it's not ideal, but it is a level and type of communication that we're all more used to now than we've ever been, because we're all connecting with each other via video very routinely. And so we still have the students from different disciplines assigned to interdisciplinary teams connecting via Zoom or other video conferencing software, synchronously, and working through activities that mirror what they would have done in a live event. And so when we started this conversion from the in-person events to the live events, we started with the learning objectives and the competencies that we would achieve in a live event, and basically said, okay, how can we achieve these in the same manner in an online event? And maintaining that synchronous interaction among the students was one of the most important things that we could have done to try to achieve those objectives and the competencies associated with those events.
How do you, as a faculty member, feel about that? I mean, obviously, you've been working very hard to make it as seamless as possible. But just your personal opinion, how do you feel about having to take it online?
Yeah, again, I think, it's one thing that I think we probably took for granted before the distance education was, what it is now in COVID, is we took for granted how often we could see and interact with our students. And I know personally, I think I was probably hit a little bit harder than I thought I would be by being removed from that level and type of interaction with my students. And so I think that was one piece that, we try to do as much as we can in an online environment, but I have found personally that it just doesn't mirror the same, level of and type of interaction as you get from walking around a classroom and helping your students navigate a problem and explaining something to them and seeing the light bulbs go off when they get something they didn't get before. And so again, it certainly can solve a lot of problems and allow us to continue to progress in the education of our students. But again, that in-person interaction is something that I will admit kind of hit me a little bit harder when it was taken away from me than I thought I probably would.